Hello, everybody. Um, yeah, so I've been feeling pretty burned out. I don't know about a lot of you, but just a lot of things in the world right now feel pretty overwhelming. And, you know, I think that we're all kind of trying to figure out how to cope. You know, we've got these, just now we've had these Supreme Court decisions where it's like, it is legal to criminalize homelessness, and Trump has immunity, and we're getting rid of the Chevron litmus test thing, where basically they've determined that government agencies, which are comprised of experts in their fields, are no longer the final say on how to interpret federal law. So, like, now judges are going to interpret nuanced, ambiguous things. And that means that, like, if anytime there's a dispute, so if the EPA sets some kind of limit on, emissions, some kind of regulation on emissions, then there's going to be some private company who disputes it, and then the courts are going to decide whether or not the EPA is correct about, like, ooh, maybe there's this like poison being leached into the environment, and the judges are going to say, oh, well, they're allowed to do that because obviously we know that there are a lot of moneyed interests involved. But anyway, so, and like the Supreme Court is about to hear trans kids do they have the right to medicine. Um, so basically, yeah, and I'm getting burned out, and I'm burned out on the election. I just don't know how many more times I can have someone tell me that if I don't vote for Biden, then I am voting for Trump before I explode. To put it nicely, let's put it nicely and say just explode or yell at them or whatever. Because, yeah, I mean, I've said it before. I live in Kansas. I have voted for a Democrat every time I have been able to vote since I turned 18. And my vote doesn't matter in a heavily gerrymandered red state. It's weird that we have a Democratic governor and yet everything still sucks here. So anyway, yeah, I'm really burned out on talking about Project 2025 and all this. It's still like that's my main gig. That's like my main job. So I'm going to keep talking about those things. But we do have, that was a nice voice break. We do still have my live show where we usually just kind of faff and talk about whatever for the first hour or two of that 4-hour stream. So, I find that to be a really recuperating kind of energy. And I also have a second channel now. And that's kind of one of the main things that I wanted to talk to you about today, is that I am so close to the first 1,000 subscribers over there. And, like, if you're like me and you need a palate cleanser, or you need to, like, think about something else, especially something practical, because a lot of the other aspect of this is that, climate change is getting worse, food is getting more expensive, we're potentially looking at widespread water shortages, food shortages, difficulty dealing with summer heat for those of you like me who have, like, medical problems that make it much harder to be out in the heat. Like, if my air conditioner broke, I would be fucked and I would need it fixed immediately, So, I want that to be an option for you all who are feeling a bit, overwhelmed, or feeling like, what can I actually do, right? On this other channel, so far I've basically posted a couple of discussion videos. I just recently posted a video where it's just like, hey, I'm gonna weed my garden plot at my community garden and put a little time lapse, put some music on it. It's just a nice chill video, right? So for those of you who need something chill, or an opportunity to learn about other things, basically the overall point of this channel is like hunting, fishing, foraging, and gardening from the leftist and trans perspective, since those things tend to be kind of gate kept behind conservatives. You know, you have to be okay watching the content of someone who you're pretty sure is like fairly racist. You know, you get that vibe sometimes. But yeah, and we will be talking about climate change and food shortages over there because that's the point of why I'm doing the content. But it is like a break from thinking about trans stuff in particular and the election. Like I just need a break. I don't know how you feel, but I just need a goddamn break. And you know, I'm feeling like I'm about to start trauma therapy again, and I'm not going to go into huge detail here, but like I am so stressed. I can barely read Reddit Am I the Asshole posts without me getting anxiety, like because I'm just very reactive right now. So I'm trying to find some things that I can do that make me feel better, like learning the skills of hunting, fishing, foraging, gardening. That helps me feel in control, which I think helps a lot of people with anxiety. If you feel like, wow, my vote isn't going to do anything, and like I have to leave, you know, that's the other thing is I'm preparing for a move 2,000 miles across the country to a safe state because Kansas isn't really safe, you know, like we have a bunch of blue areas here, but it's really hard when you feel like, oh, I can't use public restrooms, or like if I use public restrooms, I'm going to be risking getting arrested or accosted or assaulted or something. You know, like I feel relatively safe in public, but that doesn't mean that I am safe in public. And that's like a huge strain to feel like you don't know if you're going to run into somebody who wants to make your day a problem. And like that's not even to speak of the fact that my documentation is going to be forcibly reverted back to what it was when I was born, and we don't have the option to change our birth certificates anymore, and right? Like you could go on forever about why it's such a strain. So yeah, and along with that, like I'm trying to expand what I'm doing. Like I go on the Transatlantic Call-In show, not every Thursday, but many Thursdays at 2 p.m. Central Time. And that's a great opportunity to talk to trans people in the community, to talk to allies. And yes, we talk to transphobic people or like people who hold contrary positions to us. But there's something much more fruitful, I feel, about having the discussion with people who disagree rather than like, you know, let's just argue online in the comments forever, which I still do, you know, but I want to try to minimize that as part of my life. I have like my Fansly, where I want to disconnect enough from the internet that I feel good enough about myself to take sexy pictures. I don't take any nudes or anything, but like, you know, I'm like, this is a cool outfit and I feel really sexy in it. I'm gonna take pictures. And yeah, like I also have thoughts that don't really have a place to go. Like I'm watching the new House of the Dragon series and I have thoughts and I would love to put them somewhere, and I think that those are going to go up on Patreon. I don't know that there's many people who care about my thoughts on House of the Dragon, but I have thoughts and I want to put them somewhere. So like I'm just trying to do different things. I'm trying to find different things to focus on. And, you know, I would really appreciate for those of you who don't want to keep talking about the negativity all the time. Obviously, that's what gets the clicks, the outrage, the high emotions. Like, that's what gets engagement. But I understand, like, there are people who told me, like, hey, I'm sorry, but I'm unsubscribing from your main channel because I can't deal with this all the time. You know, and we try to talk about, oh, we had this win in Florida. This was a recent one where the trans care bans and the restrictions that were impacting adults were unconstitutional, according to, I think, the Florida Supreme Court. And that's great. It's great news. I struggle every time we have one of those positive news stories to not end it with, like, it's good news for now. until it gets appealed to the Supreme Court. And now here we are. The Supreme Court is going to see one of these cases from Tennessee, actually. So for those of you who are feeling fatigue, for those of you who are burned out, for those of you who are getting tired of being held hostage to the Democratic Party and being told, oh, you have to vote for Biden no matter what, I do think that if you live in a blue state, or if, like, to make sure it stays a blue state, and if you live in a purple state, I think you should vote for Biden. I am personally feeling demoralized, and, like, even if it wasn't Biden on the ticket, I would probably not be feeling very enthusiastic about voting for whoever it is. But anyway, so for those of you who are just like, I need to check out from this, please consider checking out the second channel. Once it gets to 1,000 subscribers and like a certain amount of watch time, I will get control over the ads. Right now, YouTube is putting ads on my content and I'm not getting paid for it, and I can't control where they put it. So if there's ads every 2 minutes in an 8-minute video, you know, I can't control that, and that's probably one of the crappiest things about having a new channel. My partner and I are also discussing starting a podcast together. This is kind of more of a preliminary thing because he needs a microphone, and like, so we just, it's not the kind of thing that we would start immediately probably. But if you're familiar with Eragon, the book, or the Inheritance Cycle as the series is called, we want to start a podcast about it because it's really fun for us to talk about. And the Disney Plus is going to have a show, an Eragon show. There is no movie in Ba Sing Se. So yeah, I'm like trying to find the joy. I'm trying to find the good. I'm trying to get the ghost of trauma from my IUD placement out of my body, right? Because that's definitely making it harder to deal with everything else. And I'm checked out completely from the whole Palestine situation because I have seen far too many images and videos of little children's bodies that I cannot ever forget at this point. And so that's one of the, honestly, that's probably what's broken my spirit more than anything else. I don't know that there's anything else on this planet, not even climate change, has made me feel like, wow, it doesn't matter who I vote for, or wow, I am literally powerless. Like, no matter what we do protest-wise, this is going to continue happening. Biden is sitting there going, oh, no, no, Bibi, oh, no, no, we don't like what you're doing, and then sends another $1 billion of bombs, right? Like, I don't think there's anything that has made me feel more like, I'm just going to check out. It's like, either I'm going to become an operative of some kind, which I have no interest in doing. Let's join Anonymous. That was a joke. Or like, I'm just gonna check out. I'm gonna move somewhere safe. I'm gonna develop a lot of skills. And so, you know, again, the second channel, there's a link in the description. It's called One Oasis Left. I'm commissioning some art for the icon, so it'll be, right now it just looks like a reskin of my main channel. But yeah, if you're burned out like me, you know, consider following me on some of these other projects. You know, The Line, the channel is called The Line, where we do the Transatlantic Call-In show on Thursdays, and I post content for free on my Patreon sometimes, in addition to the paid stuff. So yeah, I'm just going to increasingly, I'm still going to do this, but I need to do something else. Like, I'm still going to be posting on this channel because that's my main job. But I need to do something else, or I'm gonna lose it. Like, capital L, capital I am going to lose it. So, yeah, if you're feeling anything like me, check out some of the other projects and see if there's something in that you can vibe with so that we can recover. And again, if you're interested, we do stream on Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Central and on Sundays at 12 p.m. Central. And we spend the first at least hour of my show just faffing about, talking about whatever, and we don't get into anything super serious. So, well, sometimes we get into things that are serious, but it's like, we meander topics, and, you know, sometimes I'm like, hey, look at this crochet thing that I'm making. It's 4 feet wide now. Yeah, so if you're interested in those things, please follow through on the other projects that I'm working on. If you're interested in anything in particular, feel free to let me know in the comments if there's anything that you want to see. And when I post clips from the second channel, like I've been posting a short clip from whatever video I've just uploaded, follow over to the other channel and leave your comments over there. I've noticed like people are leaving comments on the little clip, and I'm like, go watch the full video and leave your comments over there, because you want to help that channel. So yeah, I think that's all from me today. Just serious burnout and trying to move on to different topics and different subjects. Even on this channel, you might see more like with drama content, maybe less explicitly political content, because I'm just trying to find what's going to work within the context of like this channel I've already built. And yeah, everything sucks, and I don't really expect the news to get better, which is part of why I'm shifting the focus. I am not really expecting to get good news from the Supreme Court basically ever again, possibly ever again. I'm not expecting the election to go well. That's part of the problem, is that I'm so pessimistic right now. So that's why we're trying to do other things, trying to refocus, trying to bring some levity into the situation, some levity of some kind. So yeah, I'm gonna stop rambling now. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for subscribing, watching the channel. Thank you so much preemptively for following me over to the other projects that I'm working on, whether that's Patreon, or whether that's One Oasis Left, or whether that's The Line, or my Fansly. It's just fansly.com/Lexander. It's $5 a month to get like just cute, sexy pictures of cute outfits, like goth girlfriend. So yeah, all right. Thank you, everybody, and I hope you have a pretty okay day. Best you can, at least.